First of all, a warm welcome to everybody, and we are happy to be hosting this webinar on Spotfire 14.6. There's a lot of new and exciting places and things to explore here, and that's what we're liking to do today. So we're really excited to share the latest features with you in this new version. Also, you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, please feel free to put your questions in there, and we will try to address them as we go through the meeting. And if not, we'll be able to email you after with the information that you're looking for. So with that, let's get going here. So I'm happy to do introductions today. With me on the phone is James Louie. He is our Director of Technology here at Cadeon. He is going to be talking about the latest and greatest Spotfire Copilot capabilities. And as well, Kelly Blair, who is our lead trainer and data analytics specialist. And Kelly is going to talk about the 14.6 features, as well as data science and further into Statistica, which is very cool for ML ops and data modeling that you can do for AI. And of course, myself, Amanda Summers, I'm the Director of Client Engagement here at Cadeon as well. So our agenda today, as I mentioned, we're going to just talk this morning as we have Spotfire announced 14.7, which is an innovative release, was announced today. But we'll talk about the difference between the innovative release in 14.7 and the latest LTS version. So we'll give you guys a overview of that just in case there's any confusion there. Then we'll get into Spotfire 14.6 and a brief overview on that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Copilot, the data science, and then, of course, open it up for Q&A. So this morning, as I mentioned, Spotfire announced the new innovation release, which is 14.7. However, to clarify, it is not a long-term supported version. It's an innovative version. We thought we'd walk you quickly through the differences. So let me start with the LTS track. LTS versions are designed for stability and long-term reliability. Those releases come out roughly 18 to 24 months, so organizations don't have to upgrade frequently. They receive hot fixes and service packs, which means critical issues are addressed without making or introducing major new features that could disrupt existing workflows. Another key advantage is you do get extended support window. So you can get support on the version you're on for up to 4 years after its release date. And in contrast, the innovative track focuses on rapid innovation and new capabilities. And so the versions are released much more frequently, almost 4 times a year. And you get access to the latest features and enhancements much sooner than waiting for the LTS version. And that's kind of great if you're looking for a specific feature or function that you've asked for or requested and need it right away to do your work. However, the hot fixes and service packs are only provided for the latest version. So staying current is important, meaning you have to upgrade much more often on that version. And the support window is shorter. So you can only get support for 1 year after each release. So really, in comparison, the LTS focuses on the long-term stability with less frequent upgrades, while the innovative release provides faster access to new features. So if you guys have any questions on that, we're happy to answer. And if you're looking for what the details are on 14.7, please let us know, and we're happy to walk you through those as well. So let's get into the content. Spotfire, as you're aware, really has positioned itself to be a visual data science platform. It doesn't want to be compared to Microsoft Power BI as a reporting tool or Tableau. That means it can combine agile, interactive data exploration with advanced analytics. So it allows you to do your key engineers within your organizations and your power users to use their expertise to ask and answer questions themselves without having to go and get additional help. And it also helps them use their creativity to come up with more complex solutions and problem solving. And there's a little bit of a comparison here. So really how Spotfire is positioned as that visual data science platform. On the left, you'll see the specialized tools, and on the right, we have the statistics tools. So you might have a factory-wide license that these specialized tools, but it's pretty common. Only certain gurus can leverage those tools because you need more advanced training and education to be able to use them. And what Spotfire is trying to do is really make their platform able to be used by analysts and general users, so those citizen developer type roles. And on the next slide here, I have a bit of a comparison of some of those tools that are available. And Spotfire is often considered the better option with its new capabilities and enhancements that it has. You can see it has on the right-hand side, that with the Spotfire Data Science SKU, all of the capabilities that you would typically need multiple tools to be able to leverage. And I think that the biggest one that we're really seeing with the Spotfire Data Science and the platform itself is the fact that it is meant to be a no-code, low-code data function tool. And if you're comparing it to things like JMP or a data robot, which are simply modeling tools, Spotfire has the ability to take you from the data quality and the correlation and the modeling piece into the platform, into the visualization piece. And it is one of the only tools on the market that can do that. So if you're looking to get into the data science realm, which a lot of organizations are, it's a really great aspect to leverage within Spotfire. So what I'll do now is hand it over to Kelly Blair. And Kelly, can you walk us through the latest features in 14.6?
Absolutely. So I'm going to go through some of the key highlights of the 14.6 features, in particular focusing first on those that are under the analytics licensing piece, which is the kind of the base functionality there. So first of all, to note, we're continuing to see Spotfire transform that authoring experience. So if you've been with Spotfire for a while, I started out back in version 7.4 or so and saw the big shift to version 10, and then we're continuing to see additional changes to the authoring experience as we continue through versions 11, 12, and now into 14.0, and now 14.6 with the latest LTS. So some notable improvements to the authoring experience here. First of all, the authoring panel is it's an undockable panel, so you can move that around and position it wherever it makes most sense for your workflow, either next to the canvas or in wherever it makes sense for you. We have expanded color management, so support for color schemes and simplified color rules, better layer management when you're working with your map charts to reorder layers, providing more control and clarity over those. There's a lot of kind of under the hood improvements that just make things generally perform better, make things a bit more usable, and just provide consistency across the various visualizations in your environment. That new panel makes that authoring experience easier. I would say it's more efficient and just kind of unifies it in general. So easier to use. It's also searchable. So instead of, if you've ever worked with the current visualizations property, and sometimes it's a rabbit hole to go down and find where that particular feature is, with that new authoring panel, you can actually search to find properties, which makes it a lot easier to find them and then make those changes. So with that in mind, I would say it's even more efficient. You also do have the ability to configure multiple selected visualizations at the same time and reuse configurations across visualizations through essentially a drag and drop interface. So in fact, I was just doing training this week and somebody was asking about that comparing it to prior versions, and that is definitely makes our development experience much better. It's also much more scalable. And so that is one of the key highlights, that authoring panel. Along with that, we are seeing some additional improvements to authoring when it comes to, for example, our column properties. You may have noted at one point we had the ability to format across multiple columns at the same time. That capability went away. That has actually been restored. So that's through the data and analysis flyout. It has formatting controls, aggregation settings, and just a nice, easy place to be able to find and manage all of your column level properties. Now, in addition to some improvements in the authoring experience, we are seeing some improvements to some of our visualizations as well. So in particular, if you've worked with box plots, you may recall that prior to this new release, or the LTS release, they were vertical alignment. So now those box plots are actually more flexible. We can display them horizontally, as you can see in the screenshot here, which can definitely improve readability, especially if you have long category labels or if you've just got limited vertical space. So that also makes it easy to compare yields across production lines, for dealing with manufacturing, defect rates by machine, variation across products. So that can be difficult to see with those vertical ones, as you can kind of see in the bottom half of that view there. So that those more flexible box plots are a real nice feature if you use box plots. Also, one other thing to note with the box plots, the statistics table that comes with the box plot is now more flexible as well. We can actually create our own expression-based measures. So we can have some custom calculations and expressions in there, things like yield rates, defect percentages, if we're looking at process-specific thresholds. So we can all see that now right there in that single box plot. So we don't need to go in and alter the data table or create extra calculated columns. We can just put it right there as a custom expression into our box plot. Continuing on with some of the enhancements to our authoring experience, there's kind of been a long-standing limitation on our property controls to a cap of 1,000 values for our list boxes and drop downs and sliders. That limitation has now been removed, so you can have thousands of unique values within those property controls without having to deal with issues along that. So it's going to support a larger number of values with that. The other thing that we're seeing here is a much stronger integration with modern platforms, so very much a modernized user experience. If you're working with like the Vertica connector, that's going to provide us a consistent workflow for creating and managing connections across both our analyst and web-based clients. So that connector now supports single sign-on with OAuth 2. Also, the Dremio connector has been updated to support the latest ODBC driver for Apache Aeroflight SQL, giving us enhancements to performance for larger scale analytics. And here's one of my favorite features. I have to say, I mean, there's a lot I love about this 14.6 release. There's a lot of really good things. I think a lot of us have been waiting a while for this LTS. I think we were hoping for it last spring, but I will say it's worth the wait. And one of the things that I really like, if you work with map charts, one of the requests I've seen over the years that I've been doing training on Spotfire is the ability to go beyond just the out-of-the-box shapes that we have. And now with 14.6, we do, actually technically it was in an earlier version, but this is the first LTS with it. We have the ability to have these custom marker shapes. So that is a huge improvement, and you can see a couple of examples in here. We've mocked up a couple of examples. One where we can use that custom shape to actually convey the status of a particular well right there in the map chart visualization, or we've got a slightly different one here, but we also have done one where we've mocked up like a company logo so we can see the operator logo on each well. So this is a might seem like a relatively small feature, but it is definitely a favorite. And with that, I'm going to come back and share some other new advancements on the data science side of Spotfire. But in the interim, we're going to talk a little bit about Copilot. So I'm going to hand it off to James.
Thanks, Kelly. Okay, so what is Spotfire Copilot? Spotfire Copilot, it's a free natural language extension that's included in your current licensing. So whether you're a seasoned or novice user and have been using Spotfire as a builder or consumer, it really helps improve efficiency and shortens the learning curve. And it also helps improve efficiency in building and answering more what-if analysis questions. It can be deployed. It's deployed as a Spotfire add-on, and it works with versions 14.0 and higher. It also has a flexible architecture, which I'll go over in a separate slide here. Okay, so with Spotfire Copilot, it can work with a lot of different LLMs. Examples that we have on the screen here is Microsoft Azure OpenAI. It can also work with OpenAI. It works with AWS Claude, Google Gemini. It can even work with on-premise models such as Cohere, Olama, Hugging Face. So capabilities of Spotfire Copilot. You can ask it Spotfire questions and answers. So you could ask it questions like, how do I write an expression? How do I do a filter? Where do I change colors? How do I create a map chart? You can also have custom conversations. So Copilot allows you to index your own proprietary documents through the mechanisms of a vector database. So these could be documents such as daily drilling reports, user manuals, safety manuals, research papers. You can also interrogate data. So you can ask questions of the data. What does my data represent? What should I be looking in my data? The Copilot will give you recommendations of what you can look at. You can also do auto charts. It's got an auto chart capability. So natural language in, charts out. It supports over 13 visualizations in Spotfire. One of my favorite ones is generating code. So Spotfire can write the data functions for you. So rather than you having to figure out the Python syntax, Spotfire Copilot will actually write the Python code for you, and it'll generate the data function, and you just have to provide the inputs and outputs. Another great part of the recent release of their Copilot 2.1 is explaining a visual. So you can send the visualization over to the Copilot. And on top of that, too, it's not the LLM that needs to figure out and understand that visual. The backend data is actually sent to the LLM model as well. Okay, so here's just a quick snapshot of the Copilot architecture. So once again, it's installed as an add-on. It's comprised of Docker containers, and these Docker containers can be deployed on your traditional Linux or Windows server. We've also deployed it for other clients through Azure Container Apps, AWS Kubernetes. So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of how you want to deploy the Copilot containers. You have the optionality of picking your various models and your various vectorized databases. The Copilot works on Spotfire Analyst, and it also works on the web player. And the key to kind of showing your architecture, the key to show from this architecture diagram is all that information is still and can be contained with your on-premise environment. Okay, so here's just an example showing Spotfire Q&A. In this case here, I'm asking Copilot, how do I add custom shapes? And Copilot here has provided step-by-step instructions. So, it goes back to whether you're just learning to use Spotfire or you're experienced. You can now ask the Copilot, how do I do these things within Spotfire? Custom conversations. Here's an example of ingestion of daily drilling reports. So daily drilling reports, it's got a lot of information in it, a lot of unstructured data. It can have operational information, geological, cost data, H&S. So all this goes into a vectorized database, and in this example too, also with a graph database into AWS Bedrock. And Spotfire Copilot is connecting to the AWS Bedrock. In the example there, we're asking, was there any wait on weather days during the drilling of a particular well, and Copilot's returning the information from AWS Bedrock. Okay, in this example here, it's with describing my data. So this is really good. Say you've connected to a lot of different data sources, or you're not sure where to start. You can just ask it, okay, describe my data. In this example here, it's looking at a Spotfire DXP file. It's got production data. It's describing, okay, here's some key tables. Here's going to be columns of interest. And he even provides suggestions of analyses that you can build. In this example, it's just saying, okay, here's some suggestions. You could compare production trends over time, identify well with highest initial production, analyze cumulative production to identify high-performing wells. Okay, another capability of the Copilot is to query data. So it will query the Spotfire data tables. In this example here, we've got non-productive drilling time data. So we're asking the Copilot, hey, can you return the NPT time for a particular well? In this case, it's return the information. And then afterwards, I've refed that information into the Copilot for an analysis. And then the Copilot's generated a narrative. So the Copilot's really good for taking information and also helping you generate that insight and narrative into the information. Okay, and then auto charts. So as briefly mentioned, it supports 13 visualizations. Here's a prompt where we've asked it, okay, suggest some visualizations for viewing monthly gas production data by operator. And as we've seen on the left side, it suggested a bar chart, line chart, tree map. And then the nice thing too with the auto chart is you can just click on those suggested charts and it will add it into your Spotfire analysis file. Okay, this example here is with generating the code. In this example, we're asking it to create a data function that analyzes the gas production of each well, determine the top 5 wells for each current operator and which formations produce the most gas. Copilot here, it's gone in, it's generated the Python code. In this instance here, it's actually generated 2 outputs. So it's creating an output for 2 different data sets. So it's got some good sophisticated, it's got some good built-in sophistication. Okay, in this example here, it's explaining a visual. We're sending in that top right image there. It's the PHID versus the fin. So it's a classic correlation, porosity lithology chart. In this case, same thing. We're sending the information into the Copilot, so that image is being sent in. But in addition to that, the data is being sent there. So it's not having to guess or assume what those values are. And then on the right side, it's actually providing its analysis and correlation of that chart there. Okay, and then in this case here, it's the second example of explaining a visual. Here we've got a production profile. We've got comments with the downtime information. So one of the key things too is when you use the explain visual, it's only going to send the data that's kind of a part of the visual. In this case, it's generating a narrative and providing its insights into that well's production and also the downtime. So again, once again, really good. If you've got that unstructured data to also pull it now into the visualizations and having the Copilot create a narrative for it. Okay, and then this slide here is a future state roadmap. We've also got a webinar on it where Viv from Spotfire, he dives deeper into it. But essentially at a very high level, the current state of the Copilot 2.1 is very much based on regular LLM workflows. The next roadmap in Envision is to really take that multi-agent approach where you've got that supervisor and coordinator agent. And really with it, you provided its prompt, it creates a plan. And with this supervisor and coordinator agent really determines what other agents to call down that line. And these agents could be a agent that specialized in Spotfire. It could be an agent that is specialized with the RAG, so the retrieval augment generation, and other vertical agents as we see them come out to commercial. So a lot of flexibility in this new roadmap where we're going to be able to bring in customer and partner agents as well. Okay, and then over back to you, Kelly.
Thank you, James. So what we've looked at so far have been the kind of base capabilities with the 14.6 and then the Copilot add-on, which is currently available through the Spotfire community. That said, 14.6 was the first LTS that was released with Spotfire Data Science. So it was actually released in the 14.5 innovative release, but this is another one of those things that I am so excited about. So this really brings Spotfire to the next level in terms of our data science capabilities. So Spotfire Data Science is designed for engineers, scientists, our subject matter experts, and combines all of the capabilities that Spotfire Analytics has with some industry-specific visualizations, data science functions as well that are domain-specific, really helping us kind of dig deeper and gain those deeper insights across energy, manufacturing, life sciences, and other complex industries. So 14.6 extends the Spotfire data science capabilities with things like, and we're going to go through these, but you can kind of at a glance here see most of these things like reference elements for thresholds and ranges. We have some capabilities to match on column names for metadata-driven analytics, some additional visualization types, and we'll also see that we now have the capabilities of Statistica available to us with our Spotfire Data Science. So first of all, let's just briefly touch on some of our, so kind of a high level of some of what we have. So data science is Spotfire's new offering. Again, it extends the basic analytics capabilities with things like machine learning, predictive modeling, industry-specific capabilities, and it includes, again, all those capabilities of Spotfire Analytics, as well as Statistica, but also includes some advanced capabilities for understanding data and data preparation, industry-specific solutions, as you can see here in the little visual aid on that. We're going to dig in a little bit deeper. So first of all, let's focus in on what Spotfire Data Science provides for and the energy industry. So we have basically the with the energy specific visualizations and actions that we have, Spotfire is going to give us the ability to combine oil and gas specific visualizations, highly interactive analytics, as you could see on that previous one with the live little video showing interactions with that visual. Basically, tailored towards engineers, geologists, other subject matter experts, basically putting you in a better position to understand your oil and gas data. So we have things, as you can see on this chart or on this slide, some charts that are relevant. We have a 3D surface and line chart to help us optimize well placement for better targeting of producing formations to improve recovery. We have the well log, which enables our engineers to identify things like pay zones, to identify pay zones, to be able to estimate reserves, evaluate formation properties such as porosity and permeability, and to plan for completion activities. So this is a highly specialized visualization, and it helps us understand all of the various metrics, arranges the measurements in a way that should be familiar to those of you that are oil and gas engineers, and can help us compare those measurements alongside the geology track as well. We also have the well spacing. Also, you may have more popularly known as the gun barrel diagram. used for analyzing the spacing between wells, which could be useful in order to evaluate if additional drilling of wells will help improve production or not. We also have the well bore diagram, which is going to help out our production engineers, drilling engineers, and well completion engineers with their day-to-day duties, such as deciding, which corrective actions they need to take, or if we need additional diagnostic operations before deciding what to do. So we've got all of these very specific visualizations for the energy industry. We also have some other new visualization types, polar plot being one of these. This is a specialized two-dimensional chart for visualizing data in a, as you can kind of see here with the shape of this, in a circular coordinate system. And it provides support for lines, markers, and areas. You might have seen something similar with like a spider chart, but unlike the spider chart, for categorical comparisons, the polar plot is purpose-built for directional analysis. Now, in addition to some specific visualizations that we just went through, there's also some industry-specific data functions that are going to be available through the Spotfire Data Science. So these data functions are, if you've done work with data functions before, you may be used to kind of the old way of doing this, where you either go in and write your own data function, or maybe you go out to the community site and kind of go through and find some sample data functions and then go from there and then have to bring them into Spotfire. Now they're going to be built in, as we can see on the next slide. So here you can see an example with our analytics flyout. We have right at our fingertips those built-in data functions available. So we don't have to go out, find resources in the community, develop we can certainly still do that, but a lot of these are going to be brought directly into Spotfire, simplifying that process and just having them there at our fingertips ready to go. There are 9 new data functions that have been put directly into Spotfire Data Science, to things for time series, geoanalytics, missing data. We then have the ability to configure and execute these, assuming that we have that Spotfire Data Science license. And these, again, are industry specific, focused on energy and manufacturing, and helping us to solve kind of cross-industry problems as well. So let's just kind of take a quick look at some of these data functions. So as I said, we have time series, geoanalytics, and missing data analysis functions for those. Again, available and configurable to our data science users. We have, for example, the geospatials, which can help us convert our geological survey data into the appropriate or correct reference system so that we can accurately place our wells. We also have geodesic distance calculations to determine things like pipeline feasibility and placement of the access road. We have distance calculations for providing adjustable accuracy for speed versus precision trade-offs. Polygon areas can be calculated for land use assessment. So there's a lot of these features just built right in. You don't have to go out and reinvent the wheel. They're now part of our Spotfire environment with the Spotfire Data Science. Continuing on, we also have functions that provide capabilities for pattern recognition and well similarity analysis. So we can compare time-dependent or depth-dependent sequences, so our well logs, and look for things, be able to identify similar geologic formations or reservoir characteristics. We can evaluate similarity with multiple metrics, standard and scale, distance, variability indicators, outlier detection, really looking to gain those deeper insights into our data. A nice thing about this is then that's going to help us identify those wells that are more geologically similar to a particular reference well, helping us streamline exploration and development decisions, and helping us uncover hidden patterns in our well logs. So just ultimately helping us get to our decisions faster, more accurately as we explore and develop. So next up, we have a new feature, a new column matching option that's going to make it easier for us to pivot and unpivot our data. Now, in the past, we do have the ability to run those types of transformations, but that is now kind of built in a bit more, and we have a column matching option, which makes it easier for us to connect our tall parameters against our metadata tables with the wider metadata tables with our measurements, helping us match rows that might hold things like temperature, pressure, flow, things like that. That can be really useful for something called reference elements, which will be coming up in a moment, but basically helping us kind of take a couple different views of that same set of data in those two different kind of pivoted, unpivoted views of that data. Now, a couple of other things that I know so many people have been waiting for are a couple of new connectors. These are available with Data Science. The LAS file connector is one of these. This is a connector that we can use for loading well log data directly into Spotfire from the LAS file. So rather than having to go through an intermediate, we have a connector that takes us directly to that and able to bring that directly into Spotfire. We have another one as well on the next slide, which is the Esri connector. And the Esri connector, I'm sure for those of you that are in the energy industry, you are probably familiar with Esri. This connector allows us to access and load our spatial data from Esri sources directly into Spotfire. We can connect to local file-based GIS databases like GDB, ArcGIS Online, ArcGIS Enterprise, and just bring that directly into Spotfire for visualization. One of the nice things about this, I just kind of want to add an aspect on this. I know we've all kind of wanted that ability to bring that data directly in, and this is going to provide that. But I would also say that there's potentially an opportunity for some cost savings here with this. From what I've seen, Spotfire is positioning itself to be kind of a complementary tool or complementary to tools such as Petrel, Techlog, Harmony, Esri, and others, with the kind of the goal being to synthesize that data from those systems into Spotfire for better cross-domain decision making. So I'm not going to suggest that Spotfire Data Science is a replacement for those tools, because it's not, but it does provide us an opportunity for cost savings with respect to those tools. So imagine that you have several analysts that are spending their day in Techlog at, let's say, $250,000 per seat per year just to draw your well logs, or something similar for maps, whatever it might be. That can get quite expensive. And depending upon the number of concurrent connections, you might be overspending. What if you could retire some of those seats and achieve, if not only the same outcomes, but let's say better outcomes with Spotfire Data Science while saving money? Because most of those seats, those tools are kind of on a floating license. So no individual is going to have to give up their seat. It's just a lower timeshare. So I think when I look at my favorite features, and like I said, there's a lot here to love. This Esri connector, I think, and a lot of these other connectors are really provide a great opportunity for us with that data science piece. And then finally, some of you may or may not be familiar with this tool. And it was a tool previously with TIBCO, the previous parent company of Spotfire, called Statistica. And this is probably, I love Spotfire. Any of you who have ever worked with me or taken any of my trainings can know just how much I love Spotfire. You can see my face light up around it, and I'm so excited about the 14.6. But I will say I had a second favorite tool that I worked with from TIBCO, which was Statistica. And with this 14.6, actually technically 14.5 on the innovative release, we now have that ability to work with Statistica in our Spotfire environment. So this is included with the data science license. And as you can see on this graph here, for those of you that have been doing analytics, you may be familiar with this maturity curve and the idea that kind of at the base level, we just want to understand by looking at our data what has happened. And then we from there want to go to understand, well, okay, if I know what has happened, can I start to understand why it happened? And Spotfire does an excellent job of helping us understand the what of what has happened and the why it has happened. Statistica is going to let us take this to the next level. So we not only want to understand the past, we really want to have foresight into the future and understand what is likely to happen. And probably more importantly, how can we make it happen? What do we want to have happen? What can we do to influence that going forward? So that's where Statistica is going to come into play, really helping us bring us up the level of that analytics maturity curve. So here, and I apologize, I think I have a couple of my slides out of order. I was meant to change it, and I think I missed a couple of these, but that's okay because we'll just talk about Statistica in the order that the slides are here. And so actually, this one's in the right order. Sorry. Like I said, sometimes I just get so excited about all this stuff, I lose track. So if you're not familiar with Statistica, Statistica is an analytics platform. It's going to combine our data science capabilities, things like machine learning, much more advanced statistical analysis tools than Spotfire has available. It also allows for automated data preparation and modeling, so we can actually have a really nice, clean data pipeline with health checks and things like that. One of the common questions I get when I'm doing training is, well, how do I know that the data that I brought in is good? We can certainly build out some visualizations to do some basic analysis of the quality of the data within Spotfire, but Statistica is really going to help us get a handle on the data quality. The nice thing about this now that Statistica is tied with Spotfire, and there were nodes before in the data flow that would allow us to integrate with Spotfire, but it's a more seamless integration now. So the Statistica piece can both read and write to the Spotfire library, helping us integrate for more advanced visualizations, integrating with other enterprise systems, and really just kind of giving us an end-to-end analytics workflow. So from data source, data preparation, data, checking the quality, analyzing it, and then potentially pushing it back out to another system as needed. So if you haven't worked with Statistica or are familiar with it, it's a great interface. It's very intuitive. We have a drag and drop. You basically drag and drop nodes into your workflow. You connect the outputs of one node to the next. You can split off, as you can see in the little sample diagram here, and then you can go in and configure the properties of each of these nodes. It's a fairly easy to use interface, but it does also have support for more advanced users with the ability to do R and Python scripting. And then next slide, sorry. So here you can kind of get a view of that. If you look at this, you can see the workflow there, but above that you can see the ribbon. Right now it's on the analytics piece, but as you can see there's several tabs there. So each of those tabs has several nodes and things that we can bring into our workflow, and then we can configure from there. So one of the nice things is all of the advanced analytics tools. We have a comprehensive set of statistical analysis tools, things like support advanced predictive modeling, quality control, process improvement. We have the ability to monitor literally hundreds of process parameters by defining rules. We can have kind of alarm, basically we can then respond to issues and then take action. You can customize by writing your own scripts. So really extending our Spotfire apps with Statistica, integrating directly to use those additional algorithms beyond just what Spotfire provides, or even potentially externally developed models from outside of Spotfire as well. And then the desktop application. So again, there's actually two modes available in Statistica. We have the data management piece, and then we also have the workflow. So what we were focusing on in the screenshots before was the workflow. This is the data management, where we essentially have a spreadsheet view of documents, where we can create, extract, and prepare data for use in analytics. For example, if you're going to be doing data modeling or predictive modeling, I should say, and you need to break up your data set into your training and your validation sets, it's gonna help you do that, so you don't have to just kind of arbitrarily go in and do it. You can have Statistica do that for you. All right. So In addition to all of the workflow capabilities, Spotfire also has a this is just an example, sorry, of one of the data functions. So just as kind of a note here, certainly Spotfire provides us with kind of a unified experience for data discovery to help us determine insights and kind of bring all that together. Here we can seamlessly explore different data sources, navigate through linked data tables, work with interactive visualizations for rapid insights, and then with this ability to customize and develop business applications. Again, kind of that low code approach to things, so we don't have to do all that. We've got the tools that are going to help us bring that in. We can really improve our speed to insight to help inform our decision making and solve some of the more complex challenges that we have. And as we can see here, we've got an example of one of the data functions. All right, so here, just as a quick note, with some of the advanced statistics and modeling, you can see we have regression, ANOVA, decision trees, machine learning available. All of these now are available to us within Spotfire through that Statistica piece provided by Spotfire Data Science. And then with respect to our Spotfire Statistica, as I was saying, one of the really nice things about Statistica that I appreciate is that ability to do to manage the quality of our data. So Statistica is going to give us tools for doing data decleansing. We have the ability to remove duplicates. I can't count the number of times over the last 10 years working with Spotfire, I've had people say, how do I handle duplicate data? Well, Statistica is going to be the answer to that. It's going to help us do that, create the sample subsets, as I was talking about with our machine learning capabilities and predictive modeling. We can do variable selection. One of the nice things that we have here is there is a node in that workflow that's called data health check. And that data health check is going to help us identify duplicates, outliers, any missing values, can help us with transformations, merging data sets, aggregation, ranking of values, time series alignment, a lot of tools really to help us with the quality of our data before we even bring it into Spotfire. And then finally, again, just to emphasize, within that Statistica piece, we can directly connect to the Spotfire library. So it's not like we have to do something with this, send it to a spreadsheet, and then Spotfire consumes the spreadsheet. We are integrating it directly into the Spotfire library via SBDF sources. So we can use Statistica to connect to a variety of data sources, file-based data sources, databases, cloud platforms, enterprise systems, a whole range of those, manage that data pipeline, and then push that into the Spotfire library as an SBDF file that our Spotfire dashboards then can consume and pick up the next piece in our analytics workflow. So we can export to the library, and then on the other side, we can export to Excel files. We can write back to databases. It's going to really help us integrate Spotfire into our broader data environment within the organization. And that's it. I'll hand it back to you, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly. And that was a lot of information, and definitely, we'd like to put it out there to anybody that's on the call. If you'd like to dive deeper, please don't hesitate to reach out. A Copilot session specifically with working examples, whether you want to see Statistica live demos, we're happy to do that at any time. So don't hesitate to reach out. And just a note that a lot of the content today was oil and gas based, but Spotfire really works well within the life sciences. It works well within manufacturing. We just happened to sort of show those examples today. So if you'd like a little more tailored approach to a demonstration, we'd be happy to do that for you. And Spotfire is a great partner. We're a tier 1 partner of theirs, and we're constantly working with them to get the best information out to you folks that we can. So with that, I do see somebody has asked for the slides and the recording. Phil, is that going to be available? Just putting it out there.
Yeah, so the recording will be available to everybody that attended. Sorry, to anybody that registered. So the slides, although we are not we can't really share the slides because the slides we have them as a partner of Spotfire, and there is some restrictions around them. But you will have the recording, so please feel free to look at the recording afterwards. And Amanda, just one comment. Great job to everybody speaking today. Thank you very much. And to the folks on the call, what you saw today was basically the Spotfire platform as a full cycle now, right? So from the descriptive analytics right up until the foresight. So now it's just the extension of the platform. So it's truly powerful and it's all in one platform. So that's my 2 cents. I just wanted to add. I've been sitting here quiet the whole time.
Which is a feat in itself, hey?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
all good. Well, we really appreciate everybody's time today. We're available for questions and answer. Please reach out to anybody on the team and we'd be happy to assist. And yeah, we just hope you take away today that this is not just an analytics tool, as it's been seen. It truly is a platform from your analytics all the way through to what you want to do within data science. So hopefully that you got that out of this call today. But we thank you again. We hope everyone has a healthy, happy holiday season. And again, we're available if you want to reach out. Thank you, everybody. Oh, there's a question, Kelly. I believe you stated we are now able to select multiple visualizations and change their settings at the same time. Is there any restrictions to this?
Hello, Adolfo. Great to hear from you. It's been a while. I don't know of any restrictions. I don't want to say that for sure that there aren't any. I'm sure there are. I haven't run into any yet, but let's just say I'm not aware of them at this point. Not aware of any. I mean,
Okay.
I know it's not a complete answer, but
yeah,
thank you for
he
the
said
question.
sounds good. He said sounds good, Kelly. And Adolfo, if you want to take it offline, we're happy to help if you have some more specific questions as well. Thanks for joining. Thanks, everyone.